instead of just concertizing for in Europe, just normal, we want to capitalize on the opportunities, capitalize on the chances to be in various cities and and particularly the various cathedral settings where some of the great choral music was composed. You know, choral music had its beginnings in the church, and so much of the historic music and some of the greatest of the historic music was written for the church.
The Chamber Singers' first European concert appearances took place in Rome at the Cathedral of St. John Lateran and at the Church of San Lorenzo e Damaso. These concerts marked the beginning of a special journey for Western's musicians, a journey to the cities and of the Italian Renaissance that gave birth to the music of our time. Besides appearing in Florence and Venice, Western singers took time for another important activity, sightseeing, arranged by associate consultants for education abroad, the organizers and managers of the St. Moritz Festival.
Well, as you know, most Americans regard themselves as descendants of Europe. And so for many of them, the trip to Europe is in a sense a trip to find themselves, or perhaps their families. Now that is translated literally by some people going looking for graveyards, cemeteries, tombstones. But more generally, I think it's fair to say that most of American culture is in a sense descended, I won't say derived, but descended from Baroque, Renaissance, European culture. So that when many of the American choirs, especially musical groups, choirs amongst them, when they come to Europe, they may be doing sightseeing, but in a sense they are trying to recover their own heritage.
I think the most important aspect of the trip was the broadening of my horizons by going to Europe, by simply going to Europe and seeing the capital cities of Europe, which everyone in this country grows up knowing about, hearing about, and knowing that he indirectly came from those roots. I feel like a very great privilege every American should share in going to and seeing those capital cities, whether they're from roots or not, that Europe is where it came from.
From Venice, Western's chamber singers headed for Switzerland and the St. Moritz Festival. There they would join forces with the University of South Florida Chamber Singers, the Austin College Choir, and from Boston's Simmons College to form the St. Moritz Festival Chorus of 19. This was the ensemble that would join conductor Neville Mariner and the Philharmonia Hungarica for concerts in Paris, Vaduz, and Geneva.
All right, welcome to St. Moritz and the St. Moritz Music Festival. With the inclement weather, it's probably better if you stay on the coach while we check out the details. Greeted by Richard Savage and the rest of the crew when we go inside. But because of the weather, stay outside. You may have noticed that the weather has turned from rain to slush.
And the slush changed to snow, 2 feet of it, a special treat following the heat and humidity of Italy. After arriving at the Hotel Lautinella, Western singers quickly settled into their new roles as members of the St. Moritz Festival Chorus, a chorus whose history dates back more than a decade.
Well, my company's been running tours in Europe since 1955. Among better American college choirs, we were often asked if they could do workshops with well-known European chorus masters, and they'd like to perform in festivals. That was always difficult to arrange because the groups themselves weren't necessarily that well known. So we had the idea of combining both, running a workshop with 2 or 3 well-known musicians, preparing a major work and putting the resultant performance together with a European orchestra soloist and a well-known conductor and putting it on the road. We then did quite a lot of background research to try and find an ideal facility. Obviously a ski resort out of season has a lot of attraction, and we have wonderful musical facilities in a beautiful area. So the reactions of people have been over the years very favourable, and the programme has grown like topsy.
But with a real lilt in it, not Hosanna, but Hosanna. You've got to anticipate.
There was plenty of work to be done in St. Moritz. Assistant conductors Andrew Parrott and Harold Axe had only 4 days in which to prepare the festival chorus for its concert tour of the Mozart Requiem. For many singers, this was a first taste of music making at the professional level.
Take it away. And the first note has got to have a good kick.
There is always a very strange feeling because most choirs have arrived and jet lag is about to hit. It's in a very strange environment. Some people have never been abroad or to Europe before. Certain people have never seen snow before, perhaps, and we here have 2 feet of snow or whatever it is this year, which is unusual. So the very, very atmosphere of being enclosed in one building in one small town for a week is very strange. And there's a pressure on because we've got to prepare for important professional concerts as well as maintaining the standards for the individual choirs for their own tours. So there is a lot of pressure. There's not much time. The few days go very quickly.
The reflexes have got to be quick. He may go straight into that movement. G major. No problem. Right.
I think the most thing that a student can take away in working in this professional experience, namely working with a top-flight professional conductor, in almost all cases world famous, is that he has to suddenly be a standard of performance, of working responses in cases where has taken 3, 4, 5 months, some cases all year, to prepare for a concert. He suddenly has to prepare it in 24 hours. He suddenly has to work on a level in which musical, emotional maturity changes to a tremendous extent, and it's enormously exhilarating, exciting, sometimes unnerving, but in all cases, I think uplifting for them.
Take it easy on your voices. You have a long way to go.
With rehearsals behind them, it was almost time for the festival chorus to begin its Dr. Mariner and the Philharmonia Hungarica. First, each choir had one last opportunity to do independent concertizing, days in which to see a bit more of Europe before regrouping in Paris and Geneva. Western singers first held a recording session in the Hotel Laudenello's Konzertsaal, then left for a quick tour of Austria to Vienna, Salzburg, and the magnificent cathedral at St. Florian's.
I think the tour, or all tours, tend to reach a fevered pitch, and especially the kind of schedule that we had to keep, and so we needed to have some time to release, some time to let go, and particularly some time to shop and buy souvenirs for those at home, a chance to do nothing musically, but absorb the culture.
In addition to sightseeing in Vienna and Salzburg, the chamber singers also visited St. Florian's, a tiny village near Linz, Austria. It was here that Western's musicians experienced one of their most satisfying performances, the Ave Maria of Anton Bruckner.
Well, the day in Linz was one of my favorite days. I really enjoyed it. We got there and we got to see 2 Austrian weddings, and we went in, and I remember walking through the door, and Tim Simpson looked down and he said, "Look, there's Anton Bruckner's grave," and we were there in his church. We went in and we tried several different combinations of positions with the Ave Maria, and the sound was just phenomenal. I really enjoyed singing that piece.
From Austria, the Chamber Singers traveled to Paris to rejoin their American colleagues in the St. Moritz Festival Chorus. In one day, Neville Marriner, the soloists, the Philharmonia Hungarica, and the chorus had to prepare a performance of Mozart's Requiem at the professional level. The first concert of the tour was to take place that very evening.
I think one of the most stimulating things about a project like this is that you're catching people at the peak of their musical enthusiasm, this first flush that they're having, the brush with the profession. And this is one of the performance always, the vitality that they may never might have naturally in the rest of their career. With any, some of them, under ideal circumstances, they've come into contact with a professional orchestra, professional management, concert halls that are used to housing completely professional performances, and of course audiences who have no discrimination whatsoever between professional and amateur. They expect from an organization like this completely professional performances. Therefore, they're really tasting blood for the first time.
Neville conductor. He's very flamboyant and he's fun. I think in his conducting that part. Professional is rigorous. You know, you get on the bus in the morning, travel all day, and sing in a concert hall, and get up, travel all day, and sing another concert. I get while traveling and be expected high standard, but that's part of it, I suppose. And I think we rise to the occasion, and there's really the high musical experience you can have at the professional level that you may not be able to have at a lower level of performance.
Remain standing here. Siebener. Time you have to be showing your. The only reason that they professionals will tolerate is because they're going to be some use to them. You can't actually with an orchestra such as you the same. You cannot exploit a professional orchestra with a chorus. Because of some of their lack of experience and their shortcomings, you do bully them a little bit. And this is no bad thing. They don't go away hating you for it, and they rather enjoy, again, this first encounter with professionals. Please show me what you can do. I'm sure your will focus somewhere around 8 o'clock this evening, I hope. Otherwise, we're going to spend the rest.
I really think that this gave me a chance to see what the professional music life is like in Europe. When they work hard. When they play hard. It seems like after each performance, he just let down, and Neville Marriner was a cheerful fellow and very personable. But during he was quite tough, and it demanded a lot from the chorus and the orchestra and the soloists.
With rehearsals completed, the St. Moritz Festival Chorus was ready to begin its European concert tour with Neville Marriner, the Philharmonia Hungarica, and soloists Edwin Hari, Alfreda Hodgson, Maldwin Davis, and David Thomas. The chorus would be performing Mozart's Requiem in the Pavillon Baltar in Paris, in the Vaduzersaal in Vaduz, Liechtenstein, and at Victoria Hall in Geneva, Switzerland.
enjoyed most about the trip was the people on it. The other choir members are always real helpful. And, you know, there are when situation, you know, your knees are against the chair in front of you, and that it's a lot of patience with each other and responded to other people's needs. We had some people on there who, you know, stability, and people who are always happy and kept things going, and those things, you have to have those people, and they made the trip worthwhile. You really can't experience something like that alone, as well as you can with other people, in the sense that when you look at a spot, at a place, or think about, you know, the Vatican, or you can think about Paris, you can think about places, and when you relate them to the experience you have with those people, and, you know, the phrases, the stuff that went along with it, brings a warm thought when you remember it. Just the cold. The people make all the difference, and that's what music individuals.